So in 2005, I was insulted in ways that my body and my mind could not understand. Yeah, it was supposed to be a normal morning in class, right? But unfortunately for the likes of me at the time, that day was going to be a school fees drive. So for the Nepo kids amongst us, you might not be able to relate. But what it means is simply an activity that occurs at intervals in schools where a teacher comes up and, goes through the list of debtors and then send you home. So if you're owing fees, you're sent home. That particular day, one of my teachers was assigned to, carry out that activity. And then everything was going fine. She was going through the names, call a name, pack your bag, go home. Call another name, pack your bag, go home. But everything changed when it was my turn. When it got to my turn, she decided to pause and pour out her frustration on me. Her reason was because it's because of people like me that they don't get paid their salaries on time. So she insulted me in ways that I cannot imagine. I couldn't fathom. In fact, it took the sound of the break time bell to get her to stop. And when she was done, I was numb for like the first few seconds. I couldn't move. When I moved, it was tears that followed, hot tears. But then something happened, because that day would have ended very badly for me, and perhaps maybe left a scar in my heart that, could have maybe engineered my journey from then on, right? But somebody stepped in. Her name is Fego Aluya. I'm not sure Fego will remember this, because this is like what now? 20 years, apart. Fego just came to me without saying a word. She sat beside me and just looked at me with so much kindness. She didn't have to say anything, but I could tell that she felt my pain and she was basically sharing the moment with me. My name is Tochukwu, and today I'm going to be talking about kindness as a tool for shaping people who go on to shape places. We often celebrate qualities or characters like, grit, discipline, talent, and whatnot. We most likely fall into the trap of not celebrating or not noticing silent virtues like kindness. I want you to reflect for a bit. Take some time to think about maybe during the last 2 weeks, a time where you showed kindness to somebody who you saw, needed it. Could be your friend, your brother, it could be your father. It could be that homeless man along the street. It could be that woman who you notice is struggling. Perhaps our goods are getting smaller and smaller every day. The things in our shop, are getting old. It could be just anybody. Just take time to think about it, as I proceed. One of the most powerful forces in human development is actually kindness. Kindness is not soft, right? I know that perhaps while you were trying to think about the last time you showed kindness, you would have been trying to look for that soft, quiet, time where you showed kindness. But kindness, is not often soft. It is a very powerful force. I've heard of people who would say that they are towing a path because somebody provoked them, right? Somebody insulted them, and then I want to prove to the community that I can make it. And then you go into something dubious that you actually regret in the future. But if you flip it, showing kindness to people can actually orchestrate their journey to become a future world changer. Kindness is not weakness. We would agree that we wouldn't say that Fego, stepped up to help me or to console me because she's a weak person. In fact, I would like to classify her among strong people, right? Kindness is not lowering your standard. It's not allowing people to step on you. In fact, I think that people who show kindness have a much higher standard. Let's consider some forms, right, and effects of kindness. Kindness can shape the identity of a person. If you treat people as capable, they start believing that they are capable. I know of a young man called Jesu Damilare David, Adeshegun David, JD for short, in Ogbomosho. JD gathers young students, right, to teach them how to be effective in the workplace before they even graduate from school. I consider this a kind, endeavor. Imagine as a business owner that you employ a young graduate and you don't have to invest so much in them before they start producing something useful, before they start becoming very productive for your team. It makes everybody's life easier, right? And there are less frustrated people, out there in the world. Kindness can sometimes appear as competence. I was lodged some days ago in a hotel, and when I got in, it was evening. So when I got in, I discovered that the AC doesn't work. I would have been easily irritated and frustrated, and for the rest of my day, all the activities, I would have engaged in, I would pass that aggression to other people, right, and create the chain effect. You see that because of somebody's incompetence, another person's mood can be affected. Think about it. If you have a doctor in this town who is so competent that we are all sure that if we take our kids to his hospital, or if we take our loved one to his hospital, he's going to attend to them and everything will be solved. It makes our lives easier, right? So kindness can actually appear as competence sometimes. And if you are competent, I would say you are contributing kindly to the society. Kindness can provide psychological safety. When I teach my students, most times they get really confused and frustrated teaching them how to code. And they feel like they are not able to attain to this. They are not able to do this. It's too hard. What I do is I take a step back and I share stories of how I started and how I was frustrated. I do not take it up on them. In fact, in my class, you are not allowed to shut anybody down. You're not allowed to laugh at anybody, right? That's a form of kindness. It makes people believe that they are capable and they can do anything they put their mind to. Kindness actually multiplies. We all agree that a healed person will heal others, and somebody who's hurt will hurt others. I want to share another story that really shaped my journey professionally. So in 2010, I gained admission into school. I was happy, like every young person, right? I went to school, did my clearance, completed everything that needed to be done by, a new student. And I matriculated. Just a few weeks to my exam, I was invited by my course advisor in school. And she broke the news to me that my admission has just been withdrawn. What was the reason? She said I had a defect in English, and they are just seeing it now after all the processes I went through. Long story short, I had to go back home, right? And I came back home to an empty street. All my friends had gone to school, You just be at home hearing the rhymes and all that of kids in school. Those KG kids. It was frustrating. I was getting depressed. And a neighbor, a kind neighbor, noticed. And he said to me, Tochukwu, it's not good for you to be idle. I don't like the way I see you. Please come to my office and you can just, stick around. I went to his office. A job opportunity came up as a cleaner, and then I accepted it. It afforded me more time to, spend with him in his office. And at some point, he noticed that I was very drawn to the computer. And he said, you know what? I'll send you for a computer training. He offered to pay for my tuition. I went for the training. I was very good in class, best at typing, very proficient in Microsoft Word. And I was employed in that training institute. I became an instructor. Fast forward to today, I'm a software engineer, work for an international organization, and I earn a decent living. Just because a neighbor who had no reason at all to help me paid attention. It kick-started a journey in my career that has led to where I am today. There's something called the Matthew effect. The entire concept, the way I think of it, is that it's kind of like, small advantages lead to greater outcomes because they compound. So if you give people advantages at the right time in their life, it's going to compound and help them to build momentum. So before this kind neighbor stepped in, I was going to be depressed, right? Falling into depression. After he stepped in, I gained the skill, and now I'm earning and I'm giving back. Basically, all I'm trying to say is that my journey has been characterized by kindness from different people who had no reason to help me, right? I could go on and on and on. I have stories for days. I could speak of the Glorious Fountain Ministries, where I was given free accommodation, free internet, a laptop that did not belong to me, where I honed my skills. I could speak of Ronald, Tobore, Richard, Chimdike, and I could go on and on and on. These are all friends who helped me at different times in my life. I don't believe that kindness stops. I think it spreads. Today, I've been able to collaboratively and individually train over 20,000 engineers worldwide, right? I went ahead to started an organization called DYEN, DYEN. Some of you here might have been beneficiaries of that organization. We've trained over 4,000 youths yet, and giving out scholarships worth over 100 million naira. And since then, I've gone ahead also to start another foundation called FREI, the FREI Initiative. The idea is to empower orphans with skills so that they don't depend on relief materials, clothes, and handouts. They can be able to fend for themselves and make a living. You may not see the immediate effect of your kindness, but I assure you that it goes a long way to shape the next life. I believe that if people shape places and kindness shape people, then kindness shapes the future. I want you to note this point before I leave. See people beyond the now. Don't see people for what they can give you now. See people beyond the now and show kindness. Try to be kind. To that keke man who seems very irritable that day, just be kind. Speak potential to people. Don't be the reason why somebody feels, down. You see your friend trying to, start talking online, making videos and sharing, and you're cringing. And you're trying to talk them down. Don't be that person. Be the person who encourages somebody to try. Create growth environments. This is one solid way that we can shape Warri into the city we want it to become, even without the help of the government. I'll leave you with this as I go. Long after people forget how you made them feel, they will become what you make them believe that they can become. Thank you.